Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself, Charlie. Reminder before the video starts to please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon, covering all sports and giving my opinions on the talking points in them. Now, Saturday night sees Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder at the O2 Arena take place. It is a fight that I don't know. I guess I'm slightly excited about. I'm not really sure how to feel on it, and I'll go into that in the video. It's certainly an interesting fight from the I guess angle that this is supposedly going to be Derek Chisora's last fight. You know, he had that 3-fight plan that he spoke about: one in London, one in Manchester, and one in Africa. Because I think of promotional issues, the Manchester one hasn't taken. The African one hasn't taken place. My apologies. Instead, he found himself again back in London at the O2, which is an arena that I think many people have said he's sort of made his own, facing off against the former WBC champion Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, who himself is in his 50th fight as well. Unbelievable. This is both of their 50th fights. And like I say, it's a fight that I'm not really sure how to feel on. It carries an element of intrigue to it. I think the biggest intrigue is if this is Del Boy's last fight, because you only have to have a quick glance at the heavyweight rankings to know he's number 2 with the IBF. There's a good chance if he wins this fight, he could be ordered into their mandatory, especially because we don't know the situations or scenarios surrounding the belts with Usyk, with the Rico fight. You know, the IBF, we know, love to enforce mandatories. It's what they do, and whether you like it or not, they will do that. So if he could get himself in that slot, he could get himself in a world title shot if he beats Deontay Wilder. And I think he will beat Deontay Wilder. This is not the Deontay Wilder that was starching Bermane Stiverne and Luis Ortiz and Artur Spilka all them years ago. This isn't that Deontay Wilder anymore. And, you know, you only have to look at his last few performances to talk and to look at and go, look, this is a guy on the decline. And I think declining pretty quickly. You know, he's come out with some bizarre things this week on Piers Morgan. I won't exactly go into the exact thing that he said, but he is undoubtedly, I think, a fighter who is struggling to let it go. He had that comeback fight against Tyrell Herndon. He looked poor against a guy in Tyrell Herndon who has achieved next to nothing, and that's not me being harsh on him because I've never stepped in the ring, but he's probably not even a top 100 heavyweight. The Zhang fight, he was a shadow of him former self and couldn't keep Zhang off him. And that's actually the fight that I think draws the most parallels with this Chisora fight in terms of Zhang and Chisora, both big lumps, shorter than Wilder. And I think we've seen probably since the Fury trilogy, Wilder struggles when he's backed up. He backs up in straight lines. The lack of a jab and a real sort of technique, I guess, has often been his downfall in these fights. And I expect it to be another one. I don't think Del Boy can do what Joe Parker did to Deontay Wilder, which is outbox him. I just don't think that can happen. It's not really yet. It's not feasible. But I do think that Del Boy will do what Zhang did in terms of march him down, keep the gloves high, because he will still have that right hand. But I think what made Wilder so powerful was his speed. It was frightening. When that right hand let go, it was like... Yeah, it was frightening. And you only have to look at some of his knockouts. The Spilka was the one that really sticks out in my mind because Spilka was in that fight and then he just went. He was out cold. He had the oxygen mask on. That's the one that stands out for me from what I can remember anyway. But I don't think he has that anymore. He spoke about hand issues as well, Wilder, before this fight. And I just think he's a guy struggling to let go. Chisora, on the other hand, as well, is probably a guy struggling to let go because I don't think this will be his last one, as I've said. I think if he gets that world title shot, I don't think he'll retire. Why would you if you're on the cusp of achieving something that you've always wanted to achieve? It's a tough one to call because they've both got a lot of miles on the clock. And someone said they're both shot to pieces. I don't know that I'd go that far, but their best days are behind them 100% and probably 5 or 10 years behind them. Well, it depends on what you think of when Del Boy's best era was because he's had such an up and down career. But listen, it's an intriguing fight because of the chaos that they both bring. The undercard as well, Vidal Riley, I should touch on that quickly, fighting Mateus Masternak. Vidal looks like with the Oppenheimer stripping that he will be the IBF mandatory after this fight. Could potentially look at a fight later down the line, maybe in the summer with Chris Billam-Smith, although I don't know about Billam-Smith's promotional deal with Boxer, what's going on there. Apparently Boxer haven't got him anymore. He's been inactive. as well. But that's a fight. That's a great fight. All British fight for a world title. We love seeing them as British boxing fans. So you can't complain about that. I think he will beat Masanaka. Again, he's another guy who's got a lot of miles on the clock. And although Riley's not a destructive puncher, I think he'll probably teach him a bit of a boxing lesson. And also another fight that's I think is going under the radar a little bit is Denzel Bentley against Savendra. If Bentley wins this, he will probably challenge for the vacant WBO title. Of course, that was Janabek's old belt, who Bentley did fight. But Janabek now, we don't really know what's going on there. Obviously, the IBF look like they've ordered Alinga versus McKenna for their belt that's been stripped. I think if Bentley wins this, he's in for a world title shot. And in a division that I spoke about in my Carlos Adames video a couple of days ago, is not the strongest. We could actually see, I think, by the end of the year, Denzel Bentley as a world champion. But Savendra's no easy task. He's a good fighter and a very underrated fighter at that. All in all, it's a good card. I do think they charge too much for tickets. I must touch on that. I'm personally not going. I'd love to go to this one. But yeah, I do think they charged a lot for this one, which isn't always the best thing. But I think Chisora will stop Deontay Wilder middle round, 6-8. And hopefully they both hang them up. But I just don't see it happening with that IBF carrot being dangled. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. As always, have a great day.